I married the man who once saved me. During the 5 years of our marriage, Caleb has doted on me in every way, never once looking down on me because of my hearing impairment. Yet after embracing him one day, I heard his inner thoughts. I feel disgusted staying with this woman for even one more second. If it weren't out of guilt, who would want to be with an unstable deaf woman? Just endure a little longer. Once Rory returns, I'll divorce her. Later, I encountered the man who had once caused me to be bullied. Overhearing his inner thoughts, Anya is still so foolish, why is she so heartbroken over that trashy couple? They're not worth it. If I hand her a tissue, will it seem like I'm deliberately trying to flirt with a married woman? Caleb came home very late that day. He explained that he had waited in a long queue to buy my favorite cake. I happened to have a cold and fell into a deep sleep. When I woke up, the house felt empty. My ears couldn't hear anything. I was terrified. He noticed my reddened eyes. Heartbroken, he held me tightly and mouthed to me, "I won't do it again. Don't cry, Anya." Although my ears could no longer hear due to damage to the central nervous system, I had learned to read lips. I understood what he meant. My heart warmed. But at that moment, I heard another voice speaking almost immediately after his. "I can't stand being near this woman for even one more second." That was unmistakably Caleb's voice. I stared at his handsome, gentle face, which was filled with concern and pity for me. I clearly couldn't hear anything. Yet the voice spoke again, "If it weren't out of guilt, who would want to stay with a mentally unstable deaf person?" Out of guilt? We've been married for 5 years. And he claims he's only with me out of guilt. Then why put on such a loving act? While thinking of me like this in his heart, I looked at his gentle smile. Was everything he did in front of me just an act? My heart tightened, and I pushed him away. "Caleb, do you really love me?" His eyes flickered as he grabbed my hand. "Of course, I love you." But the voice in my heart said, "Asking this again?" I'm about to puke. I closed my eyes tightly to hold back the tears. When I first learned that my ears would never hear again, I often anxiously asked him over and over, "Are you really willing to be with me? Do you really love me?" I repeatedly confirmed his love. Because I was afraid he wasn't willing. Because being together would mean he'd have to take care of my daily life, adapt to the fact that I can't hear him, and patiently practice lip reading with me over and over again. Yes. Back then, he responded to me with such patience. Saying "I love you. I love you." Exaggerating his mouth movements. Over and over again. Never growing tired of it. It was through his patient comfort that I gradually emerged from a world without sound. But now, is this really how he sees me? Did he dislike me from the very beginning? Then what does these 5 hard-earned years we've come through together even mean? My heart shook violently. Just then, that voice reappeared and completely shattered me. Just endure a little longer. Once Rory returns, I'll divorce her. Rory? She's my sister. She's the closest person to me since childhood. How could Caleb do this to me? Just because I saved him. He said he'd take care of me for life, so he married me. Playing the perfect husband in front of me. Yet in his heart, he's thinking of someone else, finding me disgusting. I'd rather not have such a hypocritical husband. If it weren't for that car accident. Maybe the one with Caleb would have been my sister. Not me. Both my sister and I studied vocal music. 5 years ago, Caleb told me he thought my sister sang beautifully and wanted me to introduce them. Though my heart ached, I still agreed. I had loved him throughout my youth, even as he fell for someone else. I was willing to bless him and let him go. But it just happened to be that day when a truck came barreling toward Caleb, and I pushed him out of the way. By the time I woke up, Caleb and my sister were standing in front of me. I called out their names, but I couldn't hear my own voice. My sister's lips moved, saying something in front of me. I couldn't hear. A sudden panic rose in my chest. The doctor handed me the diagnosis report. It stated that due to severe damage to my central nervous system, I had permanently lost my hearing. I can't hear anymore? Never able to hear again? I tried to speak. Sister, do I sing well? My sister looked embarrassed. Yes. I remember the vibration of every note in my throat. But I had forgotten. My sister and I had promised to perform on stage together. Now I've lost my hearing, how could I possibly sing well? I can't even hear the accompaniment. I can't tell if I'm singing in tune. My mind exploded. Tears streamed down uncontrollably in large drops. It meant I could never perform on stage again. Sister hugged me tightly, heartbroken. Sister stood up, pointing at Caleb excitedly. No way. Responsibility. I understood her lip movements. Caleb turned pale, his eyes filled with pain. He knelt before me. I'm sorry, he said. Responsibility. Sister said I could never perform on stage again. He had to take responsibility for me. He wrote on a piece of paper, I'm sorry, Anya. I'll take care of you for life. He took me to get our marriage certificate. I held the certificate, stunned. Caleb made another vow to me, from now on, I will be your ears. My sister's eyes were red as she tried to comfort me, telling me she would sing for me from then on. But at the time, I was still drowning in the pain of losing my hearing, completely oblivious to the unwillingness and reluctance hidden in Caleb's eyes. I was so terrified, I had already lost my dream of performing on stage. I could only shift behind the scenes, placing my hopes on songwriting instead. Daily life became even harder to adapt to. In the early days of our marriage, I often cried. I couldn't hear what others were saying. I couldn't hear the music I loved. I stumbled through life enduring countless grievances. Only Caleb remained consistently by my side, listening to my tearful complaints without ever uttering a single word of complaint. Looking back now, it turns out he never wanted to. He just didn't dare say it. While comforting me in my misery, what he actually thought was, every extra second here makes me sick. When I sought confirmation of his love, his mind whispered, I'm so tired of hearing this. If he truly respected me and wished for my happiness, he shouldn't have done it this way, deceiving me, despising me. Had I never known the truth, perhaps I would have continued living like this with him. But he came home late again. He apologized to me. Sorry, Anya, there was overtime at the office today, so I'm a bit late. I heard him think, lucky I changed clothes at the office, or she would have noticed. I sent someone to his company. Sure enough, they found that white shirt thrown in the trash. It was stained with bright lipstick marks. That night, all I could think about was that white shirt, and the venomous words Caleb had said to me. I had a nightmare. Woke up very early. Through the slightly ajar door, I saw Caleb wearing a purple casual blazer, something he rarely ever wore. Where is he going? I got up and followed him. The spot where Caleb got off was the stadium in the city center. It was once the place I dreamed of most for holding a concert. Yet, the video playing on the big screen was of my sister Rory's performance. She had already completed all the overseas stops of her tour, and this was her final one. It ended up being here, of all places. Watching her bask in the applause and cheers on the promotional video, freely showcasing her vocals, a pang struck my heart. She had promised to sing for me. Yet, she never invited me, though I was the composer behind her chart-topping hits. The moment I entered the venue, I spotted the figure in the purple suit among the audience. His eyes were fixed entirely on my sister. And there she was, singing the song I had written for my husband. How glaring it all was. The young fans nearby were whispering among themselves, that guy doesn't look like a Rory fan at all. Doesn't seem like Staff either. Could he be her boyfriend? Is there even a question? That handsome guy just hugged Rory, and our Rory's face turned all red. Sister sang one song after another. All of them were written by me. We had promised back then, I'd write the songs, and she'd sing them. She'd help me bring these songs to life, so everyone could hear the music I wrote. Now, she shines brightly, basking in the spotlight. Meanwhile, I remain unknown, standing in the shadows below the stage. My eyes sting with unshed tears. Until the final song. I followed Caleb backstage, where his gaze was fixed solely on my sister, his smile tender as he looked at her. "Are you tired from the concerts lately?" My sister leaned against his shoulder affectionately. "It's okay. Having you here makes me feel less tired." How I hated being able to read lips at this moment. Each word pierced my heart like needles. My sister casually brought me up. "How about Anya? How are things between you two lately? My little sister has quite a temper, it must be tough being with her, right?" At the mention of me, Caleb's expression immediately darkened. Unhappiness flashed in his eyes as he said coldly, "If it's hard, you just have to endure it. What else can I do? Out of guilt, am I supposed to take care of her for the rest of my life?" My sister gently soothed him, "Don't keep putting yourself through this. It was her who threw herself in front of the car. This isn't your fault." Hearing this, Caleb seemed to feel a sense of relief. "Yeah, none of us is at fault." "No one is at fault? None of you is at fault?" I staggered. "Then who is the one to blame? Was I the one who did wrong? Why did you have to hurt me like this? I willingly sacrificed my own dreams to save you. Yet here you are, all lovey-dovey with my sister, claiming you've done nothing wrong?" I kept comforting myself, placing my hopes in my sister. And how did she repay me? Taking the songs I wrote, slapping her name on them, effortlessly stealing all my glory. Now she's even cozying up to my husband. The two people I trusted most. Like twin curved knives stabbing into my heart. My tears could no longer be held back, falling in fat droplets. My sobs drew the attention of everyone backstage. "Anya," Caleb approached me, trying to take my hand. "What are you doing here?" His expression was far from pleasant. I pushed his hand away and pointed at them, enunciating each word clearly. "You were the one who betrayed me first. You had an affair with my sister while we were married, didn't you?" Caleb's hands trembled uncontrollably. "Anya, no, let me explain." I slapped him hard across the face. "You scum. How dare you deny cheating on me?" I pulled out the white shirt with lipstick marks. "Then what's this?" Rory panicked and hid behind Caleb. I stepped forward and pulled her out, slapping her again right away. "What are you pretending now? Not only did you ruin my marriage, but you also stole my copyright." Caleb shielded Rory and pleaded with me. "Anya, I was momentarily bewitched. Punish me if you must, but don't harm Rory." Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. How can he make his cheating sound so innocent? My heart sank. "Caleb, let's get a divorce." He grabbed the hem of my clothes and slowly knelt down. "Anya, don't be so heartless, okay? For the sake of our past affection." Ah, our affection. I closed my eyes for a moment. Divorce, if not for today's scene, I would never have considered this option. Only because Caleb was the light in my dark youth. He was my salvation. I had wanted to express my heartfelt gratitude to him many times. I made him a cake on his birthday, brought him meals every day, accompanied him during the rainy days he hated, and stayed up late staring at my phone to book tickets for the ball games he loved. I am willing to give everything I can for my savior, my youth. Yet he looked at me shyly, explaining that protecting me was his own will, not for any of this. How rare and precious the word protection is to me. My heart pounded wildly. For the youth in white who smiled, stroked my head, and said he would guard me. Back then, brimming with girlish emotions, I picked up my guitar and wrote my first song for him. Rapunzel's Tower. I was the princess trapped inside, and he the prince who wielded his sword to clear the thorns for me. He would often listen to my singing with his cheek resting in his hand, utterly enchanted, sighing, "Anya, your songs are truly beautiful. How kind and passionate my young man is." He was the beam of light that illuminated my lonely, gray days. But not long after, my sister came to me, saying she wanted to perform the song I wrote as a duet. She said she desperately longed to step onto the stage and pleaded with me to change the solo into a duet. I agreed. That day in the music room, I played the guitar while my sister sang. Caleb came looking for me. Through the window. His eyes were glued to my sister the whole time. Later, he sighed to me, saying how beautifully my sister sang. But my heart clenched tightly. I knew it was just a polite remark. Here's what he really wanted to say next. Anya, introduce me to your sister. My heart ached with sour bitterness, yet I still tried to comfort myself. This is a good thing. The person I like has finally found his true happiness. I should be happy for him, shouldn't I? But it was on this very day that I got into a car accident. Caleb and I got our marriage certificate. I vented and cried before him, and he endured it all, soothing me gently. I thought he had become the ideal husband I'd always wanted. But today, I realize how ridiculous I was. Turns out, he had been acting all along, harboring malicious assumptions about me. Enduring with guilt, restraining myself desperately. Yet in the end, he ended up with my sister. Since he has hurt me so deeply, I no longer care about our past affection. We are through for good. The man kneeling before me, pleading his love and hardships, feels so unfamiliar. It's as if he's completely severed from the kind-hearted boy I once knew. Caleb, I slowly peeled his fingers off me, one by one. If you don't love me, why didn't you tell me from the start? Tell me you married me out of guilt, tell me your heart belongs to someone else. I took a deep breath, and yet, after marriage, you planned to be with my sister behind my back. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? My heart was pierced with countless stabs of pain. I finally understood, when heartbreak lasts too long, it truly numbs. How cruel, Caleb. How could you be so cruel? Caleb shook his head, pleading, please, Anya, stop. Don't call me that. I screamed, my voice raw. You make me sick. I want to flee from here in utter disgrace. Yet Rory refuses to let me go, grabbing my hand with eyes wide with an unsettling intensity. There's no trace of remorse or shame on her face, only uncontrollable excitement. Are you really going to divorce Caleb? I wrench my hand away violently. Do you think if Caleb and I divorce, the two of you can be together? Do you find being the other woman something to be proud of, sister? Just wait, I won't let you off either. Rory furrows her brows, feigning fear. Oh? And how exactly will you deal with me? You've already lost your voice, dear little sister. Her words strike like a blade, plunging into my already shattered heart. I can't sing anymore. And there she is, on stage at concerts, basking in everything that was never hers to begin with. My pupils trembled violently. Seeing how agonized and helpless I looked, she finally raised her red lips in triumph and walked away. My body seemed to have lost all strength as I staggered unsteadily toward the exit of the venue. Suddenly, I bumped into a man. Those icy eyes dragged me back into those unforgettable memories. It was Elias. The very person who got me bullied by those girls. Are you okay? His concerned gaze rested on my face as he reached out to me. I really don't like him. I didn't take his offered hand. Brace against the ground, pushing yourself up slowly. He frowned as he looked at me. I must have looked pathetic. My eyes swollen from crying, being betrayed by lover and family isn't enough. Now I have to run into this man who drags me back into gray memories. Turn around to leave immediately. Suddenly, a voice echoes, still such a fool this Anya. That scumbag and bitch aren't worth her tears. I stop immediately. Certain about this. It was Elias's voice. Then it repeats. She's crying, should I hand her a tissue? But wouldn't that make it seem like I'm deliberately trying to hit on a married woman? What? I turned in confusion, trying to decipher something from his calm expression. Elias reached into his pocket and pulled out a tissue for me. Forget it. The one who's not loved is the real outsider. He glanced at me, then at Caleb approaching in the distance, his eyes lighting up, want to come home with me? I must have been out of my mind to follow him back. Elias took me to his apartment. He scratched his head awkwardly at the door. We don't have women's slippers at home, so you'll have to make do with these for now." The voice in his mind said triumphantly, "Well done, Elias," hinting that you're still single. He brought me a glass of milk. Wait, what's the point of telling her this? She still hates me so much. His inner thoughts are more talkative than he appears. I meet his cold, unreadable eyes again. No way, why is she looking at me like that? Could she possibly be interested in me? Perfect timing. If only Anya would divorce that scumbag husband, then I could openly be with my Anya baby. I avert my gaze. This guy definitely has some screws loose. And it seems he has improper thoughts about me. So frivolous. Calling me baby in his mind. I clench my fists. Hold back, can't punch him. Thank you, I say with a nod as I accept the milk. She said thank you to me. This is the first time Anya baby has spoken to me. I need to record this. I covered my ears in annoyance. This guy is so noisy. He looked at me worriedly, unsure of what to do. After some thought, he went to the study and came back with a note. Do your ears hurt? What should I do? Funny. Does he really think I can't hear him? I can read lips, I replied to him. He nodded happily. Hee, I finally got to talk to her. If my darling Anya feels even the slightest discomfort, I'd be heartbroken. It's better to call the private doctor for a checkup. But she probably doesn't know that I've been secretly watching her before. Of course, I knew she could read lips. I watched him run off to make a call. Probably to contact the private doctor. Elias seems quite different from the aloof school heartthrob I had in mind. It was because of him approaching me before and saying a couple of things to me. He asked where I rehearsed and what song I was singing. Just those 2 sentences, so my impression of him wasn't great. If he had heard anything, he should have helped explain. Naturally, I didn't have much goodwill towards such a cold and indifferent person. But everything he just did was really heartwarming. It made me change my opinion of him a bit. I picked up my phone to see several messages from Caleb. Anya, don't go to Elias. Have you forgotten how he was the one who got you bullied in the first place? Anya, I was wrong. Give me a chance. Let's start over, okay? I closed my phone. Elias walked over and said to me, Anya, I saw how those people treated you backstage just now. Don't be afraid. I'll help you take down those bullies together. The next day, Elias took me back to my place. I packed my things, ready to leave this place. But Caleb suddenly returned. His eyes were bloodshot as he stared at me. Anya, where are you going? I noticed his expression twisted for a moment. The thought in his heart was, where does she have to go? Who would want her now that she's become such a cripple? I shoved his hand away. We're over. Don't follow me. It turns out those words of worry could be said so casually. Yet the look of disdain couldn't be hidden. No matter how well he concealed it. But someone who truly loves me would never show such disgust. It's just that Caleb used to be so good at pretending. I still saw him through the lens of our youth. That's why I never noticed. He offered me a glimmer of light, but I mistook it for embracing the sun. I thought he was still that kind-hearted boy willing to stand up for me. But now, he feels like a complete stranger. At this moment, I'm immensely grateful to have uncovered Caleb's true nature sooner. It only makes me more determined to leave this place behind. Seeing me actually packing up all my belongings, Caleb panicked completely. He kicked my suitcase away violently. Anya, don't go. I checked Elias's place last night, searched several locations, looked for you all night. But I couldn't find you anywhere. I was so scared, truly terrified that something might have happened to you, terrified of losing you. I only met with Rory because she was a regret from my youth. But it wasn't until you mentioned divorce that I realized you mean more to me than I ever knew. Please don't get a divorce, okay? Can we start over? His lips were pale, and tears of regret fell from the corners of his eyes. He begged pitifully, and I distinctly heard the pained remorse in his heart. For once, his words and feelings were finally aligned. Yet, I find it ironic. The sincerity I longed for had to trample over my heart countless times. It was only through pain and regret that I could beg for even a shred of it. Such sincerity, I'd rather not have it at all. I can't agree to this, Caleb. No matter how much you repent or explain, I still remember the pain your actions caused me. Let's end it here. He collapsed onto the floor, clutching his head and wailing, "Anya, how could you do this to me?" My heart trembled. You hurt me first. I resolutely turned around and walked outside. Only after getting into Elias's car did I realize, my face was already drenched in tears. Elias, I want to release the songs I've written. But I'm missing a good producer. Elias placed the contract in front of me, then why not consider signing with my label? I'll pair you with the best collaborators. I heard him say, go for it, Anya. Defeat that villain Rory. I looked at him and smiled. Okay. A song titled Rapunzel's Tower hit the homepage of major music websites. Netizens curiously clicked on it, only to find that the original instrumental track completely overlapped with the well-known singer Rory's song Take Me Home. Just as the trolls were about to speak up for Rory, Elias's entertainment company released a master recording log. Inside were all the songs I had previously composed, completely identical to Rory's playlists. I also have videos of my past performances on the school stage. The legal team has also pointed out that Rory used my songs without copyright, claiming them as his own. At the peak of this controversy, I posted a lengthy statement. Hello everyone, I am a person with disabilities. 5 years ago, a car accident took away my hearing, and I could no longer sing on stage. I wrote many songs, including one that everyone is familiar with, Rapunzel's Tower. My sister took my song, added lyrics, and released it again. Rory's comment section was instantly flooded. Some accused her of theft and demanded she return the song. Others struggled desperately to defend her. After all, it was just an issue of copyright. But the truth went beyond that. When Rory was entangled in the lawsuit, she intercepted me on my way to the recording studio. Her face twisted with rage as she grabbed my hand. Anya, are you really going to throw away our sisterhood over a man? Over a man? How laughable. Sis, when you were with Caleb, did it never cross your mind that I'm your sister? When you took my song, did you ever consider it was my life's work? Rory glared at me sullenly. What good will it do to take those songs back? You still won't be able to get on stage. Let those kind-hearted souls spread the song, what harm could it do? I'll claim the honor I deserve. As for you, stay forever in that tiny recording studio as the eternal runner-up. At that moment, Rory suddenly recalled the fear of being overshadowed by me in major auditions. My singing won the producer's favor, while she could only remain as an alternate candidate. She couldn't write good songs, so when I was at my lowest, she shamelessly took my hard work and claimed it as her own. As a result, her comment section was always filled with praise for how great her songs were, but never for her vocal skills. Rory's expression darkened, and she lunged at me, clawing wildly. Why? Why do you get everything you want so easily, while I have to go through endless hardships? She was pulled away by the people in the recording studio. I smirked. Because what I have, I earned fair and square through my own hard work. And you'll always resort to such underhanded means to hurt others. What you gain this way will never truly be yours. I gazed at the radiant sky. I no longer lived with self-doubt. I was ready to embrace the glory and halo that rightfully belonged to me. I had my lawyer deliver the divorce papers to Caleb. Yet, he stubbornly refused to sign. I released the evidence of his infidelity, taking him to court. Caleb's company stocks plummeted, and his half-brother engaged in a bitter feud with him at the shareholders' meeting. On the day the court verdict came down, Caleb came to my workplace to find me. Dark circles under his eyes, his face full of exhaustion. Anya, can we talk? I shook my head. We're already divorced. There's nothing left to say. His expression grew slightly delirious as he brought up the past. Anya, do you still remember? Back then, when those girls bullied you, I was the one who saved you. Anya, you said I was your light. Elias suddenly stepped forward and grabbed his collar. You claim you saved Anya from bullying? What nonsense are you spouting? It was clearly me. I was the one who took Anya to the school clinic. Caleb's pupils trembled, and he struggled frantically to break free from Elias's grip. No way, I was the one who saved Anya. Elias, enraged, punched him twice. So when I went to report the incident to the school administration, that's how you explained it to her? I froze in place. It turned out, Caleb wasn't the one who saved me in the first place. He had been lying all along. And those girls who got expelled later? It wasn't Caleb protecting me that made it happen. The kind and passionate boy from my youth memories, I had mistaken him from the very beginning. I thought my marriage began with an accident, that love was what kept us going through those 5 years together. But in the end, it was disappointment after disappointment. Infidelity, lies, hypocritical love. From the very beginning to the end, it was all just a web of deceit woven together. And Caleb's so-called guilt wasn't actually directed at me, more accurately, he only felt guilty about his lies. That's why, when I asked him whether he was the one who saved me, he kept avoiding my gaze. Evading and belittling my sincerity. Caleb, do you really hate me that much? Lying to me over and over, yet never giving me an explanation. Choking back sobs, my falling tears scorched my chest. Caleb's eyes brimmed with remorse as he kept saying sorry to me. Reporters suddenly swarmed in. Caleb, is it true that you cheated on your wife with her own sister? Caleb, what did you mean by those words just now? Did your wife mistake someone else for you from the very beginning, or have you never told her the truth? Caleb, what about your company's fraudulent accounting practices? How do you explain that? Caleb was asked to the point of distress, unable to utter a single word, and eventually fled in panic. Elias held me tenderly, his voice filled with heartache. Anya, don't cry. He's not worth it. I shook my head. My sorrow wasn't for Caleb at all. It was for Elias, the man who had been misunderstood by me for all these years, silently sacrificing for me behind the scenes. I placed my hand on his shoulder, tears streaming even more fiercely. Elias, so we've been missing each other all this time. The divorce case has finally come to an end. Online criticism against Caleb and Rory has erupted. People are denouncing Rory for turning a song about secret love into an anthem for the other woman. They're accusing her of breaking up a family and demanding she be kicked out of the music industry. Rory is also facing demands for massive compensation from collaborating brands. I heard Caleb has lost his mind. Laughing and crying hysterically, talking to himself all night in an empty house. Caleb's half-brother has taken over his position. None of this concerns me anymore. I boarded that international flight with Elias. I underwent surgery abroad. The operation was a success. A year later, I once again stepped onto the stage I had long dreamed of. I sang the first song I wrote after leaving the hospital. Once upon a time, we missed each other, but we eventually met again. We can't grow old with regret, so I gathered my courage to confess. Elias walked toward me step by step with a bouquet in his hands. Anya, I don't want to live with regret. So, will you be with me? I looked at this unwavering young man who had silently protected me from behind all this time. I do. I think I've finally found my own warm and radiant sun.